It's nearly here again, I fear," muttered Nick through gritted teeth as he tightened up a retaining bolt on the mega sled. "Oh, I'm getting too old for this lark." He'd been at it now for Dawkins knows how many years and was heartily sick of the work. It had been a family business through 7 or 8 generations, but he was running low on his store of the sense of moral obligation that had been drummed into him since infancy by his father and grandfather. And look what happened to them. Early deaths from hypothermia. Even with the latest developments in Arctic, where it was still bloody cold in Lapland, not to mention all that flying around the so-called Christian world at 10,000 feet. His great-grandfather had departed the world after crashing into Mont Blanc one particularly foggy eve. Nick himself had already lost a finger and a toe to frostbite. And tradition ordained that he still had to use an ancient snow-going contraption hauled by a bunch of knackered reindeer who really weren't up to the task anymore. He dearly wished he could use a jumbo transport plane with sat-nav and a state-of-the-art digital chimney finder. Anyway, what with the modern competition, Alibaba and the like, the business was in decline. It was all right for them, of course, all interweb, one click and it's done. He still had to sift through all those stupid letters from kids, run an annual behaviour check on them, desource the gifts, wrap the buggers and personally hand-deliver down a dark and sooty hole in the roof. The dry cleaning bills in themselves were enormous. White beards are notoriously difficult to remove coal dust from, and he'd actually taken to using a new one each year. Of course, folks thought it was just a night's work, but little did they know what went into it. They all lasted about 8 weeks, 8 weeks of non-stop 24/7 panic. And since those damned elves had become unionised, he'd had to raise their wages and then reduce the size of the workforce. And then there was those bloody-minded Mediterranean countries who still insisted on delaying the business by 10 days. Well, at least he could subcontract delivery to those half-man, half-log devices they all seem to love. What's more, you had to be so careful nowadays with chimney selection, in case you offended some prickly Muslim by leaving an offering that was unwelcome, and you'd find Brussels coming after you with a big stick. Talking of Brussels, he'd certainly be giving a wide berth to Molenbeek this year. On top of that, there's the interminable round of appearances in department stores, being nice to angelic-faced brats. I used to be a good earner, even if he'd been part franchising it for years. But surprise, surprise, child protection laws have more or less killed that game. Rest of the year? Spent with Calco, the accountant, grappling with the Finnish tax authorities. I ought to think about retiring next year, he sighed, as he hitched the sled to the reindeer team for the trial run over Siberia. But I can't even hand the job over to my son, because I don't have one. Still, that new Amazon startup that Calco mentions, Santa Is Us, could be interested in buying me out.